Superintendent, Dr. Raymond Salvador and Dr. Romeo Daligdig, my partner in the CID, Dr. Juliet Magallanes, to all education program supervisors, district supervisors, our school heads, our PICDs, and of course, Linya. Pleasant to morning to everyone. Um, Parang kailan lang, no? Few weeks ago, we celebrated or we conducted our
Morning to everyone.
virtual graduation and
Parang kailan lang, no?
moving up ceremony.
Few
But
weeks ago, we celebrated or we conducted our
morning to everyone.
virtual
Graduation and
parang kailan lang, no?
moving up ceremony.
Few
But
weeks ago, we
with a
celebrated
short
or we
span of
conducted
time,
our
and
morning to
we
everyone.
are now
Virtual,
about, when in fact, today is the start of our enrollment. Siguro, some of our teachers will ask why that short span of time for our vacation. Actually, our vacation still ongoing, yet in preparation to our incoming opening of classes, due to this situation, that is why we allocated more or less 1 month for the enrollment process because there are still other consideration we need to take up so that we can assure by opening of our classes comes September 13, then we will be polish all the necessary things to prepare for the incoming opening of our classes. That is why this is very important, and I am happy seeing the attendance. We reached up to almost 1,000. So in other words, considering the number of our schools that we are more than 800, so more or less all schools are being represented for to this virtual orientation, and I'm happy for that, no, for the response of our district supervisors, our PICDs in the dissemination of the information. Actually, we have had our national orientation on the enrollment last Thursday, and uh, I instructed immediately to our planning officer to create, to organize an orientation in our level so that uh, we can also prepare and we will know what to do, no, in this time of enrollment, considering that we are still facing this pandemic. Especially nowadays, as we see in our Facebook, no, that we can see a lot of even deep ed personnel infected by this virus. When in fact, I am sad to say that one of our colleague in Simata National High School, the principal of Simata, Mr. Dullier, passed away. I am extending, no, in behalf of the division office, we are extending our deepest sympathy to the family of our brother Edwin Dullier. However, amidst of this situation, we can still go on. That is why, as much as possible, we will minimize our gathering face to face, and we resorted to this remote enrollment. That is why I am pleading to every participants of this orientation to please do not go away, because there are a lot of new things that we want to share with you, so that in spite of this pandemic, we can still maximize, no, the enrollment, because that is what our uh, secretary want us, that in spite of this pandemic, education will continue. Education will still be accessible to every Filipino children, because we believe every year of uh, every year that will pass, it is very important to our Filipino children. So we have tested by our last year performance that in spite of the difficulties in the implementation of our learnings, yet we will be able to was we were able to hurdle no the challenges of this COVID by giving distant learning, particularly using our modules to still let our students learn out of the situation. So once again, I would like to urge and I would like to request and uh, plead to our school head. Please listen carefully on this process, especially on the process of our enrollment for 2021-2022, because this will be a good start for us for our incoming opening of classes. So, in behalf of the School Governance and Operations Division, and it's my prayer that we will we will be starting this school year with a good start by having a good number of enrollment. We hope and pray na walang ma-deprive na education, na learning to our learners, to our students, particularly in this situation. So there is a need for us to be united in terms of our commitment, and in spite of the difficulties we are facing, we can still help our Filipino people. We can still help our children to have education, no, in whatever form of learning. So once again, I would like to welcome every participants of this virtual orientation, and it's my prayer that we will end a very successful on this orientation. God bless to everyone. Ingat, amping, and ampo. To God be the glory.
Thank you so much to our SGOD Chief, Dr. Ernesto F. Tardo, for warmly welcoming all our participants in this virtual orientation meeting. And at this point, we are so glad that we have with us our Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Raymond M. Salvador, who will be giving us a message. Sir?
Good morning, everyone. Blessed morning to our school's division superintendent. Blessed morning to our school's division superintendent, Dr. Maharani Jacinto, my counterpart, ASDS Romeo Dadigdig, to the two education chiefs, Dr. Ernesto Tardo of the SGOD and Ma'am Dr. Juliet Magallanes of the CID, to our program owner and in charge of this orientation, our planning officer, Ma'am Sharon, to our education program supervisors who are attending this online orientation, and to the public schools district supervisors and the principal in charge of the districts together with their respective school heads. Maayong buntag sa atong tanan. We are indeed grateful and thankful for the initiative done by the SGOD with the planning. Of course, I forgot to mention with the SEPs of the planning, Sir Lito Bahian, and with his planning officer, Ma'am Sharon, because this online orientation is very important as what Sir Tardo mentioned. Uh, it's just like no around the corner lang, moving up the now we are here gathering and discussing for the preparation of incoming school year 2021-2022. You are indeed very no you are lucky because you were given this chance to be uh, clarified and to be guided on how to come up and to fill up the different forms that we need for this coming school year. I also hope that we will we will we will pay attention. I know there are lots of forms that we are going to get familiar, but some of them are already friendly. I mean, not friendly, but they are already our friend when it comes to doing the enrollment gathering. But let us also be reminded that when doing this, we have to also make sure that our partners in filling up the forms, especially our parents and the guardians, will also be properly reoriented. That is why we have this, for you to be capacitated, for you to be able to answer the queries, especially for the incoming grades 1, no, grades 7, the kinder. So kailangan, it's very important for them to be guided, so they will be able to give accurate as much as possible, no, because we had experienced that during the first time that we did the survey of our learners, wherein they keep on checking because that is what the trend, no, but they did not realize that it was not really meant for them to have that kind of modality. Gipa-check sila unsay modality, ilaha lang gi-check-check kay mao man pud gi-check-check sa ilahang silingan, so gi-copy lang pud nila. But this time, with this activity, with this orientation, we will be properly guiding them in filling up the forms. Also, let us not forget our dear transferees who are coming back to either public, coming from the private. Also, our balik-aral enrollees for the ALS also, we need to make sure we are also informed and knowledgeable on how these forms will be filled up. Okay, we must also ensure that all the data that is being inputted will be correct, because if you like to get a clear picture of where this data will go, of course this will enter in the learners information system, or the LIS, and the LIS would really speak of how we will be able to provide you the fiscal assistance coming from the central office. So if there are any misinput or miscalculation in doing your data, of course, this would really affect the prestigious MOE. So make sure you also capture the data that we need, because the SDO also will use this for us to request additional teachers, requests for facilities like chairs, additional buildings, if CO will see that there is a need. So the data that you will be providing on this enrollment would really would really be vital in doing planning, not only for the division, but for the region and the central office as well. So I hope that dear school heads, dear PSDSS and PICDs, of course, the EPSS who will serve as your mentor when you have queries, when you have clarifications, we will be able to achieve the purpose of this convergence that we're having right now. Although we are tasked with other activities of other requirements, but it is already, you know uh, nature in the Department of Education that once you are part of the organization, we must possess the attribute of a multitasker. So just like right now, I'm talking with you, but my left hand is signing documents, my right hand is holding my other laptop. So we cannot complain, but we have to adapt. What that is nice being in the department, because we are continuously being nurtured to become better as a public servant. So, 'di ba? There were a time na sinabi nga nila, DepEd is the new DSWD, the Department of Seminar and Workshop. But although it connotes something negative, but if you look at it, it's also positive, because it means that we and the Department of Education, we are a person who is really serving the title, no, that we are the master when it comes to nurturing our learners. So nagagawa natin yun despite sa maraming trabaho, we are still able to provide the basic quality education to our pupils, to our students. So this is one of those avenue that the SDO of Zamboanga del Sur have provided to you, so that we will be able to achieve and to really hit the target when it comes to inputting the data for our learners in the enrollment. So once again, I hope that you would give your utmost attention. I know some of you are viewing it maybe on YouTube or in Facebook, but make sure that you are jotting down the important notes that our planning officer will be presenting to you. Especially, there will be a lot of templates, forms that would be presented maybe later. So you need to somehow familiarize with it. So in the future, we will avoid any errors, any misinterpretation of data, or any untoward na we don't want to happen with our school. So thank you so much for being here. So without your support, without your commitment, we will not be able to hit our target. So thank you so much to our training management group headed by the planning section of the research and planning division of the SGOD. So thank you once again. Have a blessed morning. Keep safe and God bless everyone. Thank you, Sir Bry.
Thank you so much to our Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Sir Raymond M. Salvador, for giving us a very inspiring message as we welcome another school year. And of course, we are so glad that this orientation is being viewed by almost 1,000 of all participants, believing that these guidelines, when clearly shared to the field, will provide us really the opportunity of what is the most applicable way of enrolling our learners for this school year. And of course, we would like to inform you that our session proper is subdivided into two parts. The first part will be discussed by our planning officer three, Ms. Sharon Gay Cadelinia, and the second part will be discussed by our partner, Sir Jonel Canensha, Master Teacher 2 of Tapa Anding Agricultural, Vocational, and Technical School. And so without further ado, we would like to give you now our planning officer three of this division, Ms. Sharon Gay Catalina for the part one.
Morning to the school heads of public and private and school administrators of our local state universities and colleges, to our uh, Schools Division Superintendent, Mama Harani, to the two ASDS Daligdig, and ASDS Salvador, to Chief Tardo of the SGOD, and to Chief Magallanes of the CID. Good morning, everybody. Wherever you are, you're in YouTube or in the Teams, good morning. And welcome, everyone, to our orientation meeting for the school year 2021-2022 enrollment procedures. These guidelines is issued by the Department of Education DepEd Order number 32, series of 2021, which was issued August 13, 2021, and entitled Guidelines on Enrollment for School Year 2021-2022 in the context of the continuing national public health emergency due to COVID-19. As we all know, learning shall continue. There are about 27 million learners around the Philippines, and there are about 60,000 schools nationwide that are ready for school year 2021-2022. And DepEd, this policy provides a range of options to facilitate the enrollment of learners for all public schools in basic education and alternative system programs nationwide. State universities and colleges offering basic education and private schools in basic education are, remember this, are encouraged to adapt this policy to their specific context. These guidelines shall govern only for school year 2021-2022 enrollment. These guidelines also was issued prioritizing the health and safety of all that will be involved in the process of enrollment, especially our teachers. We are asked that the teachers that are in charge of our enrollment should be those who were already vaccinated. No, it is, and it should be a remote enrollment. Remote enrollment meaning those municipalities with MLE with ECQ and MECQ, the parents may submit the MLESF in the school. But with those with ECQ, they are advised to only do their submission of MLECF through like online or digital or through text, through call. This enrollment process was issued that is efficient and maintain excellent level of data accuracy for realistic assessment and decision making. Of course, because these learners will be, as what Sir Salvador has said, that this LIS, the learners will be your data, school data is very important in decision making, in provision of MOOE and other learning materials for your learners. So we should make sure that our entries in our enrollment are correct. And there are instructions, of course, in the memorandum for parents, guardians, and enrollees. For incoming grades 1 to 6, 8 to 10, and 12 learners, parents of incoming grades 1 to 6, 8 to 10 learners will be, remember this, school heads up, please listen. Learners will be contacted by the school. So si school yun ang makontak. Preferably through the previous advisors for remote enrollment procedures. However, parents, guardians may also reach out to their child's advisor for enrollment through the contact numbers published by school, because schools are advised to put a very big announcement with contact details of the advisors, of the school head, and of the school. So it should be placed outside the school, kind of visible to the parents, no? For incoming kindergarten grade 7 and 11, because they already have enrolled in the early registration, they will reaffirm and they will communicate of their intent to enroll their children to a school of their choice via digital and or physical enrollment platforms established by schools, which is similar procedures during the early registration. And for transferees, learners planning to transfer from one school originating school to another receiving school shall directly contact the receiving school through its published enrollment contact details. Previous advisor is no longer required. So, dili na required si previous advisor to facilitate submission of MELCF learner that is about to transfer to another school. For balik-aral enrollees, school heads, please listen and take note of this. All balik-aral enrollees shall directly contact their preferred schools for enrollment. The receiving school shall register enrollees enrollment and survey data. Because remember that the mandate of our constitution is that all learners, all school age learners are accepted to schools. Wala joy balibaran because this is schooling is a right for every Filipino citizen. Dili kita mo bilin, asa man imo ko dili jud ta ana ha, ug na pa-enroll, accommodate with kindness, no? For ALS enrollees, ALS enrollees may communicate their intent to enroll via digital and physical enrollment platforms established by schools and barangays with community learning centers. Modified ALS Form 2, School LIS coordinators, naana ni sa atong support tab sa ato ang LIS, shall be used for this purpose, consistent with DepEd Order number 58 series of 2017. This form will be made available in digital and physical format. No, available na. Ang atong enrollment protocol is divided into three. There is the pre-data collection. So, ang pre-data collection, this is in the school level. Ang school head, remember, school heads, school administrators of private and SUCs, you are to designate school enrollment focal person, SEFP, and grade level enrollment chair. Pananglitan sa grade 1, na akay chairman ana, labi na, ug dagko kayong eskwelahan. And ALS enrollment focal person. So school heads, you have to have SEFP, you have to have grade level or enrollment chair, and you have to have ALS enrollment focal person, especially those schools na nag-cater of ALS, okay? School heads shall designate a school enrollment focal person who will oversee the overall conduct of enrollment in the school. The very large, medium schools, a grade level enrollment chair may be designated by the school head to facilitate the smooth implementation of enrollment procedures in their respective grade levels. The grade level enrollment chair shall receive, all modified learning enrollment survey form and turns them over to prospective class advisors who will then review sa class advisors and summarize result data using the MELSF summary matrix. Previous class advisors shall inform their previous advisory class of the need to accomplish the MELSF for school year 2021-22. So, previous advisors, ingon po na to atong mga kabataan, no? Kay we have their contact numbers maybe, we have their Facebook accounts. Unsa man mo, magpa-enroll na mo, mag-accomplish mo og MELSF. All schools are directed to receive all accomplished ALS enrollment forms in their locality. School heads may designate again AEFP. Unsa AEFP, ma'am? ALS enrollment focal person, particularly in schools hosting a school-based ALS class. The designated AEFP shall receive all accomplished ALS enrollment forms and shall coordinated with their division ALS coordinator, the DALSI, in processing ALS enrollment forms. Establishment of digital and physical enrollment platforms. SDOs and schools shall make the modified learning enrollment and survey forms. Annex B, available both in digital and print. Naanam ni sa atong school LIS coordinators, ako na ning gihatag sa atong group chat, and also the PSDSS were also given this format in their group chat. Digital format of the MLESF, unsay MELSF, Modified Learning Survey Enrollment Form. Modified kay last year ang karon nga year gi-modify nila. This is also available in our LIS support page. In coordination with barangay officials, so makiko-coordinate gyud ta sa mga barangay officials kay usahay didto man nato ibutang atong mga kiosk, mga boxes, no? A school may facilitate drop box enrollment through setting up of booths, kiosks in front of the school, in every barangay hall, and other visible locations that are accessible to parents and guardians. Remember, school heads, teachers, ang ato ag yung concern for the enrollment are our learners. Mangita gitag paagi nga masayon ang ilang pagpa-enroll sa ilahang sa atong mga eskwelahan. The process shall strictly adhere this. You also should remember this. The enrollment process shall strictly adhere to the minimum health and safety standards defined by the IATF. ROs and SDO shall maintain an active hotlines, naamatay hotline, no, that are established during last year's enrollment period and set up communication lines that are dedicated for Oplan Balik Escuelas to disseminate information and respond to inquiries on enrollment procedures. Okay? Differ deadlines for submission of the documentary requirements. Usahay na ay mga bata nga moadto sa ato ang eskwelahan nga wa jud dala nga dokumento. Unsaon kuno na nato? Schools shall not compel learners and their parents to take responsibility for transmission of school records because school records is supposed to be from school to school. In recognition of the difficulties presented by the current public health emergency and guidelines set by the IATF, deadline, wala man bata, wa may dalang SF9, saan man ako ni, deadline for the submission of documentary requirements section V-A of DO3 2018 shall be deferred. Dili sa nato sila pangayuan until December 31, 2021. This shall apply to both public and private schools. Okay? Dayon, na ako'y nadunggan nga miingon ang teacher nga, ma'am, giadto man to sa parents sa eskwelahan, ma'am. That should not be the case. The case, basta gani mga documents na, it should be a school to school. Dili ato pasagdahan ang mga learners, no? Usay, di na lang mo eskwela kay, sige kung ano ni ma'am, no? So, school shall not compel learners and their parents, guardians to take responsibility for transmission of school records. Naman tay MOE ani, atong pangayuan atong school heads, nga mag-mail mi aning school records sa bata, kaya ni transfer. Anak no, dapat. Option to transmit electronic. Oh, this is a new option of the naani sa DepEd Order number 32 series of 2021. School heads and schools, private and public, all of you should print the DepEd Order so that you will have a Bible on our enrollment procedures for this school year. Okay, option to transmit electronic. For grade 6, kay mo grade 7 naman siya. And 10 completers, kay mo grade 11 na si 10, who already enrolled in grade 7 and 11 respectively. Transmission of scanned copy of Form 137 SF10 together with other supporting or attached documents to the receiving school is an option, provided that the request was made through LIS portal request tracking transfer facility as instructed in DepEd Order number 54. So, and the school official email, ang gamito na di ay jud, school heads, mangayo daw ta dinhi sa atong IT, sa atong official school ID on transmitting record from one school to another, school ID at deped.gov.ph shall be used in sending or receiving by both schools. The option to transmit scanned document through official email instead of sending hard copy of documents is also applicable for kinder completers who opted to transfer and enroll to grade 1 in another school. IELTS mobile teachers may also use this option in sending electronic scanned copy of portfolio assessment pass or certificate for elementary and junior high school completer who enrolled in grade 7 and 11 respectively. Dissemination information on enrollment procedures. DepEd, of course, shall disseminate information. Yeah, they have disseminated already. They have uploaded this in our website at deped.gov.ph through print, social media, radio, television. Schools shall publish the contact number of schools. I-publish yun na to atong number and school designated teachers for queries and enrollment. As I have said again, please put your contact numbers kung kinsa ang inyong gi-assign nga enrollment focal person of the school. Encourage stakeholders participation. Yes, active participation of stakeholders is crucial, of course, to the success of the enrollment process. Mag-linkage ta sa atong mga barangay officials, magpatabang ta if we need help from them. DepEd shall exhaust all available means to engage stakeholders from information dissemination to the actual conduct of the enrollment. Ang atong enrollment is from today until September 13. Kay klase naman na, no? Dayon, parents shall be encouraged also to proactively communicate with school authorities during the enrollment period. Ug naay mangutan nga parent, we should entertain their inquiries. So, next is our data collection naman. So, kapag enroll na to, kay we printed out our modified learning enrollment survey forms. Collection of MLESFs shall adopt various means to ensure again safety of all involved parties, not just the parents, not just the learners, but of course the teachers and the schools. Such as we can also buy through phone call or short messages, pero ang uban man walay mga inani, so dito gid sila sa hard copy. And parents and guardians shall only use printed MLESFs as the last resort. Pero mostly, in our case, mo gid atong gigamit the last kaning printed, no? Through the initiative of parents, schools shall provide specific instructions. Schools, specific instructions, good. Later, when Sir Janelle will run through with the form, naagi mga specific instructions on the MLESF. But of course, schools, teachers in the schools should provide specific instructions on how parents, guardians, or prospective enrollers may contact the school through designated SEFPs. Once contacted by the parents, guardians, or prospective enrollers, designated SEFP shall facilitate the collection of data and other information stipulated in these guidelines through the GLEC. SEFP, the school enrollment focal person, shall accommodate inquiries and facilitate data collection as remotely as possible. No, so ang uban maghimog drop boxes. Ang uban pod magnawag sila nga unsa imong answer ana no through SMS ba or social media or site through a Facebook ug naay Facebook Messenger, whichever is mutually convenient for both parties. Data collection and reporting. Schools, through established digital and physical platforms, schools shall provide specific instructions to guide the submission of enrollment and survey forms. Ato po silang instructionan o unsaon ang pag-submit sa ilahang mga survey forms ang transferees, kindergarten, balik-aral, and ALS learners who obtain MLESF from enrollment booths. Naapoy clear, very clear instructions. Human ninyo fill up ani, ug unsa iyong mga tana, pwede mo matawag ani, human fill up, ibutang diri, ug na mga question, tawagan ni si kaninga number, si Ma'am Ana, butangan gyud nato name, no? And that is all for my part. And before I will sit down, I'd like to uh, give these reminders, no, for our school heads, for our school LIS coordinators, for our class advisors, for our those who would like to inquire. Kay ang planning and research section, we have a Facebook page. The Facebook page is Planning and Research dash Sambuanga del Sur Division. Ug naa mo'y mga pangutana, you can send through our inbox. But I would like to ask and I would like to plead nga kung mag-send gani mo message, please inform us of your school name, your school ID, district where you belong, the name of the sender, kay usay ang atong mga name sa Facebook dili naman mao, mura naman tag si ko ano kun sa tong mga ngalan dili na kaayo siya sakto sa atong ngalan. So, and be clear also with your messages because sometimes na mag-send og message nga mo kalit lang, ma'am, wala unsa ganito ni ma'am, no? So, I would like to beg na we should put our school name, school ID, the name of the sender of the message, and of course the district where you belong. And our modified LESF will now be discussed to us by I invited him because he is a school LIS system admin of their school, Sapanding Agricultural Technical Vocational High School. Thank you very much for listening, and please continue to stand by because there are still rest of the topic uh, that will be discussed to you. Thank you and good morning.
Thank you so much to our Division Planning Officer 3 in this division, Ma'am Sharon Gay Cadelinia, for discussing very important topic or details about the enrollment guidelines for school year 2021-2022. The purpose of this guidelines is only to ensure the correct data entry and of course, without compromising the health of all the personnel, learners, and parents in the community. At this point, we would like to give you for the part 2 the Master Teacher 2 of Sapa Anding Agricultural Vocational and Technical School, Sir Janelle Canensha, for a very important discussion in connection with the discussion of our planning officer. Sir?
Good morning. My respect to our school's division superintendent, Dr. Majarani Jacinto, our two ASDS, Dr. Romeo Daligdig, Dr. Raymond Salvador, our CID chief, Dr. Juliet Magallanes, SGOD chief, Dr. Ernesto Tardo, our division planning officer, Ma'am Sharon Cadilinia, our participants, principals, advisors, LIS coordinators of the different of the different high schools, elementary schools, and private schools in the entire division of Zamboanga del Sur. Again, good morning. To continue, this is all about modified LESF or the Modified Learners Enrollment Survey Form. So why is it said to be a modified LESF, not LESF before? It's because there are informations that are being added in our modified LESF. And what is this information? This is the what do we call as a survey for limited face-to-face. So this was included in the modified LESF for the reason that maybe if God will give us will permit, no? So maybe 3 months from now, 4 months from now, or 5 months from now, before the end of our school year, maybe there will be a face-to-face. So that is why in the modified LESF, this was being emphasized. So our MLESF is already available in our LIS. So all we need to do is we will just make use of downloading the different MLESF form. We have two versions. We have the Filipino version and we have the English version. So do with the ALS. So what are the contents and what are the informations within this particular MLESF? So the number one is we have learner profile. What are these informations under learner profile? So this is now the example of our MLESF. So the contents under learner profile, we have their email address, special education needs, birth certificate for kinder or new record, or equivalent document is valid. For the second information, we have parent guardian. We have highest educational attainment, email address, reduced data elements, and the last part of information that can be found in the modified LESF is a survey for limited face-to-face. So what are the contents within this particular part? We have blended with other modalities, willingness, and challenges. So for ALS, we have also three informations. So we have learner profile for fees tagging. We have in the program, we have basic literacy, ANE elementary, ANE junior high school, and ANE senior high school. And the last information under modified ALS AF2, we have preferred modality in addition to the existing ALS modality. So in our MLESF, syempre, we cannot come up with a totality of the contents or informations based on the different MLESF gathered by our advisors, by our teachers, by our respective advisors in our respective schools, if we cannot come up with the summary matrix form. So as per information by the central office, probably by today, the MLESF summary matrix form will be downloaded and will be available in our LIS. So what is MLESF summary matrix form? So for us to easily load the different contents or the different data coming from the different grade levels of our school, so syempre we have to come up with a summary. And what is the summary all about? These are the consolidation of selected data from the different MLESF. Our planning officer made mention a while ago that possibly each of the schools, both elementary and secondary, that each school should have a what do we call as school enrollment focal person, and at the same time, each of the different elementary and secondary high school should have a grade level enrollment chart. For the reason that the informations gathered will be easier for the school enrollment focal person to entry the different data or information in our quick count of the MLESF. So consolidation of selected data from LSF, questions that allows multiple answers were grouped, combined to make the matrix one question, one answer format. So this will be discussed later on. So for parents, guardian, highest educational attainment, select only the parent or guardian with the highest education attainment. Now take note that in this particular part, so shall we say for example, if the child or the student is living in a certain place or a home wherein uh, the one who take care of the child or pupil is as a guardian. So what the advisor should do is the advisor should fill in the guardian column or table provided in the modified learner enrollment and survey form. So do not make use of filling in anymore the father and the mother. So that in the summary, so hindi na tayo magkakaproblema. So in the instruction, it's very clear that if in the parent guardian information, you have there the father already. No, if you have written there the father and then the mother, do not write anymore the guardian. So if you have written there the guardian, because the guardian is the one who took care of the child or the student or nag-assist sa bata during the process of schooling. So what the guardian or what the advisor should fill in into this particular part is the guardian. So if you have there the parents and the mother already, so never mind the guardian. If you have there the guardian already, and then the guardian is the one who took care or take care of the student or the pupil, no need for you to load anymore the parent's name or guardian's information or parents' information. Okay, template and other instruction is available for download through LIS support page. So this is now the sample of the MLESF result tabulation for class advisor. So as you can see, you have there the sample. Shall we say, for example, Kinder 1. So what device are available at home that the learner can use for learning? Check all that applies. So you have there one check for cable TV, one check for basic cell phone. For Kinder 2 learner, sample, second pupil, you have there one check for non-cable TV, one check for smartphone, one check for radio, and one check for laptop. And for the Kinder Learner 3, you have the one check for cable TV, one check for smartphone. Phone. And for the Kinder Learner 4, you have there none. So to summarize our MLESF, you have there in the tabulation. So summary, matrix of selected data elements for MLESF. So as you can see, you have the D4, what devices are available at home that the learner can use for learning. So as summary, you have their television and cell phone, one. You have television, cell phone, and radio. You have also their one. And then you have their television, cell phone, radio, and desktop or laptop. You have their one, and you have their none, one. Total must be equal vis-a-vis enrollment per class grade level. So as you can see, as what we observed in the summary matrix, so you have there four answers or four data under this particular information, and then you have there the number of enrollment per class is also 4. So it should be tally. So magtatali silang dalawa. Now, go back please. Now take note that previous slide please. Another down. Down pa, sir. Up. So. Down pa, sir. Up, sir. Sorry. Okay, so you have their questions. Again, questions that allows multiple answers were grouped, combined to make the matrix one question, one answer format. So you have there the explanation in the summary matrix. Sir, proceed, sir. So MLESF process. So previous and prospective advisors in the same school is expected to work together in facilitating submission of MLESF. So accomplish MLESF, previous advisor, contact former learner to facilitate MLESF submission outgoing kinder, grade 5, grade 7, grade 9, and grade 11. For incoming kinder, grade 7 and 11 and other transferees shall coordinate to submit MLESF to prospective school. Next to this will be the summary data of MLESF. You have the SEFP. Again, what is that SEFP or the school enrollment focal person. So aside from the grade level chairperson, you have to assign also a school enrollment focal person. Why? Because the SEFP will be the one to consolidate the data coming from the different grade levels. So in other words, so you have possibly as a school head, so you have to assign one grade chairman for grade 7, one grade chairman for grade 8, one grade chairman for grade 9, grade 10, grade 11, grade 12. And the duty of the school enrollment focal person will be the one, or the duty, his duty or her duty will be the one to gather all the data information gathered by the different grade level chairman. So prospective advisor to assess completeness and accuracy of the MLESF. That's very practical. No? So honesty is the best policy. So next, so LIS quick count facility. So the LIS system administrator review the completeness and accuracy of the MLESF summary data and then encode to LIS quick count facility. So again, so as part of the process, so the grade be done by the class advisor, and then as duty of the principal, so the principal should have to come up with a grade chairperson every grade level, and then the grade level chairperson will be the one to collect all the data, all the MLASF of the different grade level to consolidate it in the summary data of MLSF. And then the SEFP, or the school enrollment focal person, will be the one to summarize all the data coming from the different grade level chairperson. And then submit the summary of data after checking its accuracy and completeness to the LIS system administrator. So aside from that, update summary data and the daily basis from August 16 to September 12. So the process will be in cycle, no? So right after loading the information within this particular day, if there will be additional data to be loaded, so same process. The grade advisor will submit the data to the grade chairperson, and then that grade chairperson will submit the data to the school enrollment focal person for summary. And then after the completeness and the accuracy of the data, the SEFP will now submit the data summary, to the Learners Information System Administrator for review and completeness of accuracy of the MLSF summary data. So same, no, same procedure. So the previous advisor is no longer required to facilitate submission of LESF of learner that is about to transfer another school regardless of grade level. That's very self-explanatory. Now, the role of school enrollment focal person. So what is his or her role? So his role or her role will be conduct, he or she will conduct orientation on the facilitation of the MLESF. After conducting gathering tabulation of MLESF data using the summary matrix form that will be downloaded in our LIS, and then submit that summary matrix report to the LIS school system admin for encoding in the quick count facility. So thank you. That's all for part 1. For part 2, if you have questions, you can type your questions in our chat box and we will answer that one later. So part 2, it's all about LIS quick count. So LIS quick count used the MLSF summary matrix for encoding. So this is not new to us. It's because the quick count of the MLESF is already downloaded in our LIS system. So except the class advisors, because the class advisors don't have the authority of loading the MLESF quick count. It's only the school head and at the same time the system administrator. So the access credentials, system administrator, and the school head will be the one or has the authority to open and to view the informations in the Quick Count facility. So you have their facilities accessible to Quick Count tab, real-time daily updating. So from it's open and you can access 24/7. You can update also 24/7. So if you will load it, because today is the start of the enrollment, so if you have already data, and then after the submission of data to the SEFP, and then once that the LIS administrator check already the correctness and the accuracy of your data, so the LIS system administrator can now start loading the informations in the Quick Count facility. So you can also, or the advisor can also update that one from time to time. No, for example, today morning, if there will be additional this afternoon, so you can also update that one because real-time daily updating is applicable in that particular tab. So monitoring dashboard. So the school level has the monitoring dashboard in our LIS. We have also the division level has also the monitoring dashboard, the regional level, and the central office. So it was explained already by our Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, the significance and the importance of the data that we will be downloading or will be, that we will be uploading in the Quick Count facility. One of the reasons there is that it's for uh, uh, program purposes, no, assessment purposes, program purposes, and everything. So all of the data that we are going to load in the school level is very significant, most especially in the division region, most importantly in the central office. So the response for each question must be equal to the total number of learners. That was shown to you a while ago in the summary matrix of the MLESF. That if the data in the or the information given in the MLSF should equal to the number of respondents. So if you have there four students who answered in the who inputted their information in the MLESF, it should be that you have also four students pupils in the summary. So note ALS will use the same Google Sheet utilized last school year 2020-2021. So opening of classes. So Learners Information System, beginning of school year 2021-2022 encoding. Usual process of enrollment learner in the LIS. So syempre, that's very self-explanatory. Prospective advisor shall enroll. So that's our role as school advisor, no? Grade level advisor. We have to enroll our learners in the respective account of the advisor, except the senior high school and the private schools. Why? Because the senior high school will be using the account of the principal. So ensure the validity of enrollment. So as what our central office made mention during the conduct of information dissemination of the guidelines of enrollment, that most especially in the kindergarten, so we are aware that we should not enroll a kindergarten in which the age of that particular pupil is not 5 years old, no, depending on the schedule of the opening of that particular school. So all learners who have confirmed enrollment and started participate in any learning activities must be enrolled in LIS. So hindi natin i-hide, itago, because usually this is what is happening in the ground. Not all, but some, no, but some. That if there will be a pupil or a student that will enroll in our school, most especially kasi judgmental minsan, ito, ang batang ito, hindi ito aabot ng 2 linggo or 1 buwan. So ang gagawin ni advisor, hindi muna i-enroll, i-hide muna. No, kahit nagre-receive na yung bata ng module, hindi pa rin kasi ginajudge na ng advisor. Sorry, no? But not all, pero sorry. Pero minsan mayroon talagang ganyan. Why? It's because as per observation at the end of the school year 2020-2021, there are lots of enrollment disputes. And what's the reason of enrollment disputes? Oh, yung mga tago-tago, no? Yan yung result. So hindi na enroll, minsan sasabihin palaging nagkakape, makalimutin. So
Ang nangyayari, na-enroll yung bata, nag-end tayo ng July, nag-enroll yung bata, July din. So yan yung problema. So magkakaroon ng dispute. And what will be the problem on that? The problem on that is that in the part of the advisor, hindi siya makapag-finalize. Yan yung isa sa mga reasons. So meaning, once the student is enrolled and once the student received already the module, the student already participated in the education process, you have to enroll that one in the LIS. So walang mawawala kung i-enroll natin. Either the student will stop the following day, you should have to enroll it. So wag nating i-reason out yung drop out. It's because we cannot receive our, shall we say, our PBB. Or hindi yung reason. So dapat i-enroll. That's the instruction in the DepEd order. So update, create individual learner profile based on the MLESF. And then in the beginning of school year 2021-2022, facility will be available starting September 13, 2021 and onwards. So as per observation, so our LIS system is already ready. Our quick count facility is already available, but creating a section or a grade level in our LIS is not yet available. Why? It's because the facility on that will be available starting September 13, 2021 onwards. So enrollment policy, actually this was discussed already during our convergence way back 2019, 2018, 2019. I think that's all about data management information, no? Data management information system. So enrollment policy, this is very common. Curriculum and age requirement for kinder, that's very specific. That was emphasized under Republic Act 10157, Kindergarten Education Act of 2012, Republic Act 10533, Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2013, and DepEd Order 20, Series of 2018, Amendment to DepEd Order 47, Series of 2016, or Omnibus Policy on Kindergarten Education. So, it's very clear that kindergarten education shall mean 1 year of preparatory education for children, at least 5 years old, as a prerequisite for grade 1. So do not receive if the particular pupil or the particular child is less than 5 years old. So it should be 5. So at least 5 years old. As of when? So under DepEd Order 20 Series of 2018, paragraph 5, item A and C, for school year 2019 onwards for private schools, because there are private schools started their opening of classes last June, and then there are also private schools started the opening of classes last July, and we have also private schools started their classes this August. So for June opening, within June, learners who will turn 5 years old as of August 31. So that's very clear. So opening is July. Kung nag-open si private sa July, learners who will turn 5 years old as of September. So admitted pa siya. As long as of September, magpa-5 siya up to September 30. And then school opening is within August. Learners who will turn 5 years old as of October 31. So admitted siya. But if in case within that range of months, starting from the opening of classes, the pupil is still 4 years old, so do not accept that one. Remember, our system is computer generated. So if ever you will not answer it or load it in a right way, later on, kayo pa rin yung magsasuffer niyan, no? Kasi computer generated yan, makikita yan ng central office. So for private schools that started classes September 2021 shall still apply age cutoff as of October 31, 2021. So meaning, even if private school siya, because what we have seen in the 3 lines there, you have their June, mayroon 3 months siya, di ba? June, July, August. Then you have their July, August, September, October. So that's for private. But if in case still private, but the private started classes September 2021, sorry, shall still apply an age cutoff as of October 31, 2021. So hindi siya mag-range ng 3 months or 2 months. So for public schools, age cutoff for kinder for school year 2021-2022 is as of October 31 also, 2021. But if in case our school year will go back to our original opening, which is June. So we will follow the school opening is within June. The learners who will turn 5 years old as of August 31 will follow. Pero dahil tayo ngayon, nag-umpisa tayo sa September, so until October lang tayo. October 31, 2021. So strict implementation, all learners attended classes in kinder must be registered in LIS. That is what I am emphasizing a while ago. And assign LRN, malicious intent to hide underage kinder to avoid detection in the system shall be reported to the Office of the Schools Division Superintendent and the Regional Director for appropriate disciplinary action. Take note that all our doings, all our activities in the LIS that's government informations, meaning we will be reprimanded by that. So if in case there will be irregularities conducted by a certain advisor of a certain pupil or a certain student. So it's very clear under DepEd Order number 3, series of 2018, that's Basic Education Enrollment Policy. Yes, every learner in the basic education system shall be issued only one unique and permanent LRN that he or she shall use throughout the entire basic education program. So that is why we are encouraging our advisors in the kindergarten. So possibly once once the pupil is enrolled, you have to load that one. Do not wait until the pupil will reach grade 6 or grade 5 or grade 2 or grade 3. So once the kinder is already enrolled, assign directly a unique or permanent LRN in that particular pupil. So for special cases, for enrollment, so Department Order number 3, series of 2018. So special cases, Philippine school abroad, foreign school abroad. Shall we say for example, so if in case we have student in our school na nag-abroad tapos na lockdown abroad, na lockdown sa Malaysia, sa Thailand, or whatever country he is. So what we are going to do if in case that particular student will enroll in our school, so what will be our move? So if in case the child or if in case the student, makater natin sa online, so the better. Meaning, we will not say no if the student will enroll in our institution or in our school. Shall we say for example na lockdown siya sa Malaysia. So hindi pwedeng hindi. Dapat our school should have make means and ways in order that the education of that particular child will continue. So for Philippine school abroad, so for foreign school abroad and Philippine school abroad, what's the required documents upon enrollment? So you have their birth certificate or any equivalent legal document. So latest report card or any equivalent academic record. We have accepting school shall have the discretion to determine the appropriate grade level in which to place the learner under DepEd Order number 26, series of 1994. What is this all about? Shall we say for example, nag-lockdown din dito sa Philippines. Yung bata, nag-school doon sa Amerika, grade 4 siya doon, pero wala siyang record to be presented to the incoming school. So what will be the what will be the judgment of the principal there? Based on this particular DepEd Order number 3, series of 2018, for special cases, most especially for Philippine school abroad and foreign school abroad. So it's kung walang PEPT, it's because suspended din yung PEPT. So anong gagawin ng principal? Dapat ang principal yung may discretion where to place the pupil. Shall we say for example, grade 4 siya doon. So what will be the principal do? So ang gagawin niya, mag-assessment yung principal doon sa bata na kung ang bata ba ay karapat-dapat na ilalagay doon sa grade 4 or iangat doon sa grade 5. Shall we say for example, grade 4 siya doon sa Amerika or sa ibang bansa. So PEPT certificate of rating for learners who have not completed the school year abroad as long as 3 grading periods have been completed and for the learners who need grade level standard assessment. So that is what I mean. So the assessment will be conducted by while waiting for the record of that particular pupil or record of that particular child. So the school should have to conduct an assessment. Bakit? Kasi ang mangyayari din sa bata ay temporary enroll din yung bata. Kasi based on our basic education enrollment policy, deep in order number 3, series of 2018, once that the